Go get your Shady Rays real quick.
Oh my!
Put them on.
I should have. They're in my car. This is how the night is gone. This is how the night. You know what? I got this. Shout out to Sheet. I got Clay. He's on a vacation, like the Warriors defense.
The Warriors lose to the Oklahoma City Thunder, 128-137. I want to say that was the most frustrating game of the season, but that's a lie.
Nope.
It's just on the list of the top 20 most frustrating games of the seasons. Where do we want to start? Like, I guess I'll start with the positive. Steph Curry is legitimately God. 40 points, 14 for 23, 10 threes. What? He was rusty for 2 quarters in the Laker game, and then he's back to supernova mode. And that's kind of what makes it frustrating. He could have had 50. He basically did whatever he wanted out there, and yet they have regressed defensively and lose to the Thunder, and now are danger of falling back into the play-in.
Yay, because that is what the Golden State Warriors have been all about this season. Every time they get up, they come back down. Every time they get a little bit too low, they go back up, right? If they drop down to 12th, they will be back in 8th in no time. And since they're in 5th, they are going to be back in 8th by the end of tonight. I don't know. Steph Curry is a god, like you said. I love him. He is incredible. After the first 3 minutes, he basically said, yeah, I'm going to go drag this team across the finish line. I do think if the Warriors weren't down by like 15 with 6 minutes left, he would have played the whole fourth. He did everything that he could. I think that's the only thing that he couldn't do was gain 6 inches and protect the rim or something, or maybe be GP2 on defense. Like maybe that was the only thing he couldn't do because they didn't have any point attack defense. But I don't know, Sam, this at least gives me optimism for the rest of the season, knowing that Steph is going to be a top 5 player in the NBA. So,
By the way, we're recording this at 7:50 on Tuesday night. The Dallas Mavericks are about to win, and if they do hold off, they will be tied with the Warriors. So, sitting there right at the 5-6. I don't know.
Lakers, Memphis.
We're not going to do standings. No, that's actually a total lie. We are doing standings watch every
episode. It for a month.
So it is what it is. It felt like they were gaining separation, and nope, 2 losses, and they're back in the middle of it. I do want to talk about this before we get into our other thoughts. The refs were super frustrating tonight. I hate being a ref guy, but I just don't know how to take some of those calls. Like the tack on Jordan Poole for the bounce pass. My goodness.
Yeah, I'm with you. But you know what? Of the things that were the most frustrating this game, the refs weren't in my top 2. I think when the Warriors are playing that piss poor, it's hard for me to get mad about the refs, right? I think there were calls to be angry about. Here's the other thing I think it says but I do think this says a larger thing about the NBA. How are these teams supposed to play defense? Tonight's score was, you just said, 128-137. How are teams supposed to play defense if you're going to ref the game that way? That doesn't make the game that much fun to watch, Sam, because there is no, I've always said this, if you watch football and it's a 41-42 game, it's not that fun, like a Big 12, Pac-12, it's not that fun when nobody's playing defense or allowed to play defense. It's more fun when you've got games in the 100, kind of like where the Warriors are at home. But I do think it's a combination of both, right? Like they actually are fouling, and then refs are shitty. They're shitty, especially in a game like tonight.
Yeah, that's basically where I was at with it. You get into you're on the road, home team gets favored, just total mess. I don't know.
That last call on Dante DiVincenzo was pretty nuts. I mean, the comments are throwing it out there, and the moving screens, like it's pretty insane. Dante was first to the ball. That foul should be on Dort or no call. And then the moving screens, Fitz was saying it. Just because a guy is flopping and falling down, like, doesn't mean that it's what are we doing here?
The 2 that really stood out to me were the moving screens on Looney, where I'm like, he hasn't been called for one all season. That dude knows exactly how to set a screen. You're going ultra ticky-tack if you're going to call him. If Looney gets called for a moving screen, what, 20, 30 moving screens a game. Like if that's the standard, like literally every screen's a moving screen, right? And then the Dante one, that was a pure 50-50 ball. Like I hate when refs do not let guys just make plays. No. It could have gone either way. In my opinion, that's a peak no-hull call. Let them fight for the ball and see what happens. And in that case, Dante did have the edge on it, and that sucked. On the Dante note, I did think it was interesting the Warriors started small this game, and they started with Dante again. And I wanted to pose this question to you. So they started Steph, Dante, Clay, Kuminga, and Draymond. Part of it's because OKC generally plays small these days. So I think that's why you don't start two bigs. OKC is not the type of team that maybe you need Looney out there. Plus, Looney was banged up. No other way around that, right? That's part of the calculus in that thing. But my other question for you is, okay, let's assume Wiggins comes back fairly soon. Is that the Warriors' best small ball lineup if Wiggins is in Kuminga's place there, with Dante, Steph, Clay, Wiggins, and Draymond? Should that be the small ball lineup the Warriors go to?
That's not their best. Their best small ball lineup is GP2 and Dante's spot. But it's you're right. Yeah, you're right. The 4-5 is Wiggins and Draymond. That's their best small ball lineup. You thought I was going to say Andre. You thought I was going to say Andre.
Of course I
did. But that's too insane. But it's GP2 because as great as Dante is, and he has been freaking fantastic, and he's going to get paid more than GP2. I think GP2 fits better. He's also a better defender. But it doesn't matter. Either of those guys, you put those
Dante's a lot better offensively, though.
A lot better, but I think you can get away with some of that with Steph and Clay. I think either way, I would prefer GB just because I watched that lineup win a championship. That's why I say give me that lineup, but I'm not fighting you, right? If you want to go with DiVincenzo and like GB2 is going to play 10 minutes a game when he comes back. But yeah, I think that those are your best lineups, which leads us to the question that we're going to have later on about the other point guard that's been starting most of the season that's not been very good lately. But yeah, I think that was the right starting lineup tonight. They're just, they go down 10 within 3 minutes, Sam. I don't understand how, like, at home it's going to work because OKC is going to miss shots on the road, right? Like Jalen Williams not going to make that three. Lou Dort's not going to make those threes at Chase Center. But you know what? They're going to make them in Oklahoma City. That's how the NBA is. And they're also not playing defense. So if they're open, they're going to make them. I don't know if you're a Warriors fan or if you're a coach. I don't know how you're supposed to. I don't know what you're going to change, Sam. I don't know. We sat here and had the same conversation. What would you change? What could you change?
Yeah, I don't
know.
It's so. Wow, we get the pause.
You're at a loss for words. Wow.
That is how you know the frustrations are real, my friend. The frustrations are real. So on the one hand, part of me sitting here going, a lot of this feels like focus. A lot of this feels like they came out flat against a young team with energy. And on some level, they just have to not do that. It just has to be coming a little harder. On the other hand, it's a lot of mental errors the whole way across. And I'm sitting here and going, they're now back to overhelping. They're now back to turning the ball over for no reason, making extra passes for no reason, being indecisive. Maybe we should have expected a little of it just because they've been playing without Steph for so long, and you insert a player like that, there's a little maybe figuring out where he fits around him. Clay, I don't want to say pulling back, but not gunning as hard as the first option. Maybe a little bit's expected, but Jesus, man, it's I don't know where you're going.
Let's go through to start the game. Steph has a couple turnovers. Draymond has a turnover on an open layup. He just travels. They give up a couple open threes. All of a sudden, it's 11-2. That's it. 11-2. That's it. And they lose the game by how much? 9.
Yeah.
That's the game. And that's 3 minutes of you fucking around, right? And again, as great as Steph was, I'm just going by what happened in the first few minutes. They turned the ball over. They didn't defend. OKC made some shots. You're down 9. That's the game. I'm not saying that they lost the game there, but to your point, they spend the rest of the game fighting back, and then they make the same mistake that they've made all season. Right? Like they're fouling, they're turning the ball over. It feels like every single play that they make a mistake on is so huge, which is what we've talked about, the margin of error that this team has done. And then you compound that with the fact that you're also bringing in a bench that. Do you see how angry Andre was tonight when he played?
Yes.
I mean, that's me. He's frustrated because he's playing with guys that aren't making the right plays, and those include the veterans like JaMychal Green, Klay Thompson, but that it also includes Jordan Poole. That's tough. It's tough. This team is struggling bad. The vibes are not good too. They look miserable.
Awesome. Better without 4 guards getting regular rotation minutes. Poole minutes need to be cut in half. Too small. Steve, get over it. JK needs to play more. Interesting angle at this because I was thinking this too. First off, I don't think Kerr thinks Klay's a guard anymore. I think Kerr thinks Klay is a 3 at this stage. And honestly, defensively, I mean, he was struggling staying in front of Josh Giddey at times, and that one kind of annoyed me because I'm like, Klay, you can stay in front of Giddey. What are we doing there?
Because he's not shooting, right? Because he's not scoring, so he's not trying on defense. But yeah, I get it.
Yeah, he like falls asleep, and he's a little quicker than Klay thought, and Klay didn't recover fast.
100%.
Classic. But like the days of Klay guarding small, quick guards, those are gone. That's for sure. Poole's minutes need to be cut in half. Too small, Steve. Get it over with. JK needs to play more. I'm not sure that the question isn't about Poole versus Kuminga a little bit with this team because both those guys are young. Both those guys have erratic decision-making. It's to be expected given where they are in their careers, although you would hope Poole would be further along at this stage than Kuminga. If it has to be one or the other, sometimes I say you're going like Kuminga brings things this team does not have, which is athleticism and ability to use athleticism to get to the cup and make some plays with his size. Whereas they have a ton of guards. I don't know, man. I don't know.
You're gonna make me defend Jordan Poole. I hate you, but I'll do it. I do think I do think Poole has a unique ability to take a lot of pressure off the offense because they without Steph going for 40 tonight, what do they look like? And Poole was terrible tonight, but he does have a unique ability to do that. Every team kind of needs that. Now you can argue what's the ceiling. I think I tweet every game whether Jordan Poole can actually shoot or not because I genuinely have no idea he can actually shoot. But he does have the ability to do that more so than even a Klay and a Dante and a Kuminga. But And I also think that Jonathan Kuminga he's not good enough right now, I think, for you to make that decision because, you watch him against LA and you're like, my God, is he awful. He's kind of just taken out of the game plan because they treat him like Tony Allen. So those are tough decisions. I think what it says is that neither guy is like a surefire would be my take is like neither guy is a surefire star at this point in their career. So it's tough. Like it's tough, and it feels like specifically with Jordan Poole that he needs the ball more. He can't play. Yeah, we're gonna talk about let's do the Draymond stuff. Can we do the Draymond Poole stuff right now?
Yeah, we got a comment here going from Rebel. Poole has been pounding ever since Curry threw his mouthpiece.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. In the second quarter, right?
Yep.
Second quarter. Why don't you walk through the play?
Yeah, so Jordan Poole has the ball. He's essentially he loses his dribble. OKC guy is up in his arms. Draymond flashes to the middle. Draymond doesn't get the ball. Usually Draymond gets the ball there. He goes to the rim. He either throws an alley-oop or he kicks it out to Steph on the other side of the corner for a 3. Poole instead sees him or doesn't see him, whatever, throws to Klay back to the top of near the half court line. Draymond turns away, looks away, gets angry. Klay throws the ball to Draymond, who now isn't looking at him. So it's a turnover. Draymond keeps walking the other way off the camera. We have no idea what Draymond's doing. Ball goes down the other way. Thunder doesn't score, whatever. To me, Sam, that was ridiculous and unacceptable for both parties. Draymond, dude, what are we doing here? You're the leader of the team. You're supposedly the heartbeat. You're right. He should have passed you the ball. They would have gone open shot. Why the hell are you acting like a 5-year-old? What are we doing? And then I think Jordan Poole in this case, like, you haven't made the right decision at all this season, not once. So, he's been at fault for plenty. But I think in that case, it's just, isn't that a kind of like a microcosm of the Warriors this season? It kind of started with Draymond knocking Poole out, and that play kind of, I don't know, that play kind of felt like pent up anger, frustration, something. And then since that play, like Jordan Poole, I don't even think Jordan Poole shot the ball one time or made a shot since that play happened in the second quarter. So I don't know. The Warriors can't win consistently without Jordan Poole being good. And Jordan Poole, it's not that he hasn't been good; he's been terrible. So I don't know. What do you think?
I'm beginning to lose faith in Jordan Poole in general as a player. I think he's a fine player. I think he's very likely going to go on a hot streak in the next couple of games because that tends to be what he does. But when you consider his contract kicking in next year, and the constraints that puts on the team, I don't know, man. He's going to be able to score the ball. He's going to be one of those guys who can get incredibly hot. I haven't really seen growth as a playmaker. I haven't really seen growth as a scorer, to be honest. Like, he's just kind of a boom or bust guy. He hasn't figured out how to make himself more consistently efficient. He hasn't figured out how to be one of those guys where it's like, my shot's not falling, but I'm still going to get my 20
100%.
In a different way.
Yep.
And maybe it's unfair of me. Maybe I'm putting too much on him at 23. But the other part of me is sitting here going, you have Steph Curry. He's obviously never going to be that good. And that's not really a standard you should hold him to. But wouldn't it make more sense if they could move him for different types of players? And I'm not even trying to get into an offseason type of thing here, but it's just kind of like, I feel like I know what Jordan Poole's career is going to be going forward. I feel like he's going to be a 25, 26. He's going to be an explosive scorer who will have his moments on other teams, but he will never be a player you cannot replace.
Whoa. On other teams. Interesting. Wow. Okay.
I'm out. Like, he's the immaturity is starting to get to me a little bit, where it's just kind of like
it's rough.
When things don't go his way, just kind of turns, sulks, doesn't play his game, and whatever. Maybe I'm overreacting to. I know on some level I'm definitely overreacting to a frustrating game tonight.
But I also think that this is not something that just happened tonight. This has been happening.
No,
it's
months. It's been how I've been feeling kind of all season. Right. And I'm just kind of like, let's wait this out. Let's wait for him to turn. There was the punch at the beginning of the season. Everything's been a mess. And like, undoubtedly, he's been very important for this team in the context of being able to ride waves without Steph. But if I'm sitting here and I'm going like, we're looking contextually at like, what this team's ceiling could be with Steph. I don't know. It seems like it could be used in a better way.
Correct. From Alex ATL, I thought this comment was great. Comment section's on fire today on YouTube Live. Mm-hmm. So from Alex ATL, Poole has not been an efficient scorer. He's averaging 1.27 points per shot attempt, and that's down from 1.33 points per shot attempt last season. In essence, that means he's taking more shots and he's scoring less. I mean, passes the eye test. The numbers passes the eye test. I also think on top of that, decision-making has been terrible. You pointed this out a few times. It's not so much the can you make a shot or not? Dude, why are you shooting that shot? I know this play was circulating online on Warriors Twitter a lot after the Lakers game, but it's a tie game, 91-91. He misses a backdoor assignment, and then on the other play, 18 seconds left on the shot clock, he shoots a 28-foot three, wing above the break. Brother, if you're not Klay Thompson or Steph Curry, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? And I think that's been the most frustrating part. It hasn't stopped. I think you and I sat here, 2 months ago? You remember that loss to Utah?
1 month ago, 2 months ago.
Atlanta at home, remember when he was making, he's falling down. To be fair, he's not fallen down and turned the ball over lately. But he's still taking terrible shots. And like, that's stuff that you've got to grow through and learn. We thought he did last season, though, isn't it? I was out on Jordan Poole rookie season, and he was great last season. And at some point, because I've blamed it on the fact that the veterans haven't been on the team, there's no JTA, no Lee, whatever. At some point, dude, it's not the guys that aren't there anymore. It's you. It's Poole. We're not even talking about his defense, by the way, which is a joke. Which is a joke.
Yeah, I saw a video circulating about like Anthony Lamb's poor defense, and I'm watching it. I'm like, most of these highlights are Jordan Poole being porous, and
Anthony Lamb is 10 times the defender at Jordan. Now, part of that is like Anthony Lamb's fighting for his career, right? So he has to like somehow stay on the floor. So, and his defense actually isn't bad, but
well, I don't expect Jordan Poole to be a great defender, but you said it on a pod at the beginning of the season. Jordan Poole needs to take a step offensively because no one signed him to be Caruso, right? Like he needs to be a phenomenal offensive player, and his offense in some ways has regressed this year. Like it's not just the shot, it's the decision making. It feels like it's regressed. Makes it feel like he was more a function of playing next to really smart players than him being the player who elevated everyone around him. Because you remove all those guys, and he turns into a guy who just kind of chucks a lot and sometimes gets really hot.
I think one other thing I want to point out too, and this is a take that I haven't done at all this season, but dude, he's set to make a lot of money starting next season. A lot of money. And I do think part of the human mind is going to be like, hey, Draymond, like, you're not going to tell me what to do. Like, you guys you guys can't teach me more than what I know because what I've done is gotten me this far.
Got me a bigger contract than Draymond's ever gotten. For example. Yeah.
And Jordan Poole will never be as good of a player, impactful-wise, as Draymond Green.
No, but Draymond will never score the ball like Poole either.
Yeah.
And that's kind of your point, right? Like the incentives, it's just like, hey man, you can tell me Draymond's the smartest player on earth, but they give me money to score,
Yeah. And timing, right? Timing's part of it too. But I think that's something when people talked about why Draymond knocked him out, and I'm not saying that was the reason, but I do think that's one of the reasons why he's not really changing. And that's difficult. Again, like tonight, they didn't lose a game because of him. Like, it was a team-wide loss. Like this game specifically, that was a team-wide loss. Everyone was bad besides Steph. So,
yeah, no, I mean you are correct. We are wallowing in our frustrations. Anyone who's listening to this pod is wallowing in frustrations from a very frustrating and winnable Thunder game. And sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it's okay to just be frustrated. I guarantee you Poole will go on a hot streak in the next 5 games. And I guarantee you there's going to be someone in Andy or my Twitter mentions who's just going to be, but you told me you sucked, without listening to anything in context of what we're saying. Because, that's how life works. But who cares, right?
That's how the Warriors work. But we'll get back to comparing him to Jamal Murray in a week. But it's been a rough ride here for the last.
I mean, geez, would Jamal Murray be better on this team? Yeah. Okay. Fine.
I like Jamal Murray.
I do too. A little more in control, but same kind of like. Some games you look like a star, and other games I'm like, what are you doing, buddy?
I picked that player because Jamal Murray is exactly that type of player. Like he's someone that Donovan Mitchell is I think you could say he's a star. He is a star. Now,
yeah, he's elevated to a level where you can't talk about him like he's one of those guys.
But Jamal's kind of like, no, we'll see. I mean, the Nuggets have a chance to win a championship or get to the NBA Finals, and that'll be a good one. Anyway, Jordan Poole is officially not in that conversation, and I believe we had him in the CJ McCollum conversation last year, right? We had him in the Jamal Murray conversation. He is officially not. He is now in the comments about Tyler Hero, definitely in the Tyler Hero conversation.
Hero's better.
Jalen Brunson got signed for less money. Jalen Brunson's obviously better.
Jalen Brunson's the fucking signing of the offseason. When he got that contract, I was like, really, guys? That's like, I get it. 15th highest paid point guard. He's probably the 15th best point guard in the NBA.
Nope.
And then, a year later,
top 10. I mean, top 10. The Knicks lost. They lost tonight to the Bobcats.
7 or 8. Like outside of the superstar class, he's as good as anyone, right?
Incredible. Luka was holding him back. That's the thing.
I honestly,
maybe,
but it's not a good look for Luka that his number 2, who's quote unquote not help, is not even just a he's an all-star because he's a Knick. Clear all-star. Clear, closer to prime CP3 than I would have thought. Like, I think they're not the same player, but like you get what I'm saying.
He's incredible, and he's super smart. And I think to your CP3 point, he makes good decisions.
He doesn't turn the ball over at all. Yeah. No,
he's incredible.
He's
Somebody
efficient.
in the comment,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, it's efficient, doesn't turn the ball over, and just wins. So, what'd someone in the comments say?
I love that. Somebody said Jordan Poole is worse than Colin Sexton. Come on, man, guys, come on.
Well, that's too harsh. We are not going. I will not co-sign that one. No. But I mean, he needs to. Like, the reality is he
Monte
needs
Ellis?
to be. Stop.
Somebody throw out Monte Ellis.
The reality is he needs to be closer to Jamal Murray than Jordan Clarkson. And too often this season, it's kind of the Clarkson Sexton level of player, if that makes sense.
Here's the thing. I know you've watched Utah. Jordan Clarkson's really good.
Yeah, he is.
But yeah, I get you.
But you know what I'm saying? He doesn't have expectations other than to cook. It's like he goes in there. It's like, all right, Clarkson time, and if Poole was just allowed to just go in there and, it's like, all right, JP time, it'd be the same thing. So
it's JP time. I think he says that every time. It's not good, man. I think the emotions aren't great. I looked at how Jordan Poole was just so out of it in the second half, and I don't know. I kind of blame that on Draymond, and also I blame it on both of them, both those guys. Like,
yeah, Draymond's not innocent in this one.
No, he never is. He never is.
Yeah. Let's get some voicemails.
Yeah, let's get some.
Bruh. I drove 10 hours to be at the game today. 10 hours to be at this stupid game. They lose every road game. I decided to drive 10 hours anyway. And what am I thinking? Steph is a god. Another embarrassing loss. They can't do anything right. Like, they're the weirdest team ever. Sometimes they're great. Sometimes they're just terrible. I don't know. I drove from Orlando, Florida to be here. So I have a funny question for you guys. When the Warriors came to Orlando in November for their game, I worked at Disney World at a roller coaster, and 3 players came through. If you can guess which 3 players, I'll be very surprised. And bad luck for the team, but good luck for me. I'm going to the game in Memphis on Thursday, so I'll call back after that inevitable loss, and I'll let you know if you guys got it right. Peace. Love you guys.
I know who the 3 are.
That is, first off, elite caller. Appreciate the call.
Big light years goons. Love them.
Also, driving from Orlando to Oklahoma City, then to Memphis, that's dedication. He deserves better than whatever the hell we saw tonight. So
I looked it up. It's 18-hour drive. I don't know how he did it in 10. So I'm a little confused. You got to let us know how you did that.
Yeah, when he said 10, I was like, that's not computing with my knowledge of the map. But then I doubled down on the fact that, well, I haven't driven that part of the country, so maybe I'm wrong. I'm not going to question. But yeah, bro, if you're driving 150, like, don't admit it to people. So.
Just to see the Warriors play defense. All right, who are the 3 guys that went to Disney World?
Did they ride the Matterhorn? The teacups?
Harry Potter land?
My guess is Poole, Wiggins, and Ryan Rollins.
Wiggins, who's that? I don't even know who that guy is. By the way, comments are asking about Andrew Wiggins. No idea. We have no idea. Don't ask us.
Nothing's changed since the last episode, guys.
Nobody knows.
If we have news to break, we will open the show with it. I promise you. We're not sitting on that one till 52 minutes in.
Sam is when Sam finds out, we all find out. I don't think he's going to be playing in the next few weeks. Here's what I think. Here's who I think went. So it's got to be young guys. Steph, Clay, like those guys have been there before.
The funniest would be if it was Steph, Clay, and Draymond just went to Disney World together for a day.
I don't even think those guys hang out. I don't even think they like each other half the time. I'm kidding. All right. Enough. And I think it's
like you with half your friends. You're like, yeah, we're friends, but are we just friends because we were in math class in 7th grade together?
I don't need to go to Disney World with you. You know, we're good. I shoot you a text sometimes. We'll get on the court, pick and roll. We're good. Gotta be young guys. So I think Kuminga's there, 100%. I think Jordan Poole's there. Jordan Poole and Kuminga. And then I'm gonna throw you one. I don't know if he was on the team, but it feels like one of the two-way guys were there. I don't know if they were there. So Anthony Lamb or Ty Jerome. I don't know if they're on the team. I don't know if they're on that road trip. But if not those two guys, then I'm going to go with Patrick Baldwin Jr. That's the third guy.
The two-way guys were on the team, and I'm going to give you a quick check. I'm almost 100% positive Anthony Lamb played in the loss in Orlando.
30 minutes. Of course he did.
No, it was too early in the season. He was still earning trust. This was the 12-minute per game part of the season.
Yeah, right. Only 12.
Oh, no, he didn't play. Inactive. My bad.
All right.
My bad.
All right.
He played in the Detroit game right before that.
All right.
And then, the loss in Orlando was around the game where Steve was like, okay, rotation changes, 25 minutes a game of Lamb from here on out.
Let's cook. You know what? I should have went with Andre. That's who I'm going. All right, I'm changing. I'm doing one adult.
Ty Jerome did play 14 minutes in that game in Orlando, which, by the way, was on my birthday. They lost. Thanks, guys.
Fucking Orlando. Actually, Orlando's not bad. I'm not even gonna.
League Pass darlings. Top. I think they're my number one League Pass team this year.
No, they're not.
Not.
Who's better? They're up 2 hours up. Better League Pass team.
Oh, I mean, the Kings are a better League Pass team, but I'm saying I think I've watched more Orlando than Sacramento.
Wow.
And I think it's mostly because the Warriors and Kings conflict too often, you know?
Yeah.
I'm going to put myself through the Warrior misery no matter what. Whereas Orlando, that's my 4 p.m., you know? Watching the end of the workday, halftime, right. It's 5-something. Getting on the bike, watching some Franz, some Paulo, you know, all that sort of, 5:15 basketball.
Two of my not favorite players, but two guys like I generally like watching, and I kind of wish they were on the Warriors. Jalen Suggs and Markelle Fultz, like just solid, play a little defense, make a little shot. They can't really shoot that well, you know. Sometimes they'll go 3 for 13.
They can't shoot at all.
Hey, man. They can pass a little bit. They know how to play basketball. Like those are my two guys, man. They might not be stars. They probably won't be stars, but they'll be in the NBA for a long time. Anyway, this is how bad the game has gone today. We're talking about
we don't need to talk about the game. Like honestly, like I don't want to in any way. Anyway, let's get to the next voicemail.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that call after the Memphis game, my man.
Guys, I think we're stuck in a time loop. We're fucking stuck in a never-ending time loop. How is it that we're 500 again? How? We just had a 5-game winning streak. Oh my god. I did not expect them to lose 2 straight with Steph back. Like, what the fuck? Oh man, I don't know what to say anymore. This is frustrating.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm just a loss for words. I don't know. This team's so stupid. It helps. They always help off these stupid wide open threes anytime someone drives into the paint. Stop helping off. Stop committing the same stupid mistake over and over again. Just stop. Anyway, I just want to give you guys a shout out. Thanks for you guys for you guys' show. I couldn't imagine going through the season without listening to the pod. So yeah, thank you guys for all the stuff you guys have been doing. We appreciate it.
That tickles. That tickles because all I hear from people is how much we suck. So no,
you know what's better? Like you could either pay BetterHelp for a therapist, $150 a visit every week, or
Shady Race,
or promo code Lightyears. Just come to us to hit the download, rate 5 stars, hit a comment, say you love us, buy some shades. That's it. Easy.
You know, it would really make you feel better. A little. What would you call it? Perhaps a little. I
don't even know where you want to go with that one. I thought you were gonna go sword vitality.
Sword vitality.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew you were going.
My
for
friend,
sword vitality.
Get a little extra pep in your step. Feel a little better. Promo code Lightyears.
Also promo code Lightyears. Sword vitality. Sword vitality. Brought to you. Lightyears podcast brought to you by Sword Vitality. We need a
for sure. All right, Tim.
Well, Steve Kerr has a good excuse tonight. A great excuse for losing this game. It's not the coaching. It's not Jordan Poole's fault. It's not the lack of defense down the stretch. It's not the turnovers. It's not the fouls. It's not the refs. It's because we did not have the one and the only Tony Lamb on the roster.
Yes,
Steve Kerr must
Hollywood
go to Bob
Tony.
Meyer's office and demand that his favorite player, Mr. Lamb, is put back on the roster in his rightful 15th spot. I'm out.
Look, man. They probably should have rostered Tony Lamb.
Do they, Sam, do they win that game tonight if Anthony Lamb plays 15 minutes?
Big Tony's a road player.
Maybe.
I think so. I think they win.
Hey, before we get to the next one, Timmy, can you throw up this comment's got me dying from hopefully saying her name right. Win.
I got you.
Draymond and Poole. 32% from 3. That's as close as they got outside of a punch. Dude, are you serious? Are they both shooting 32% from 3?
Yeah, well, one of them shoots every shot, and the other one shoots one a game. So, it's two sides of the same coin, right? They really are so similar and so different at the same time, right?
And then I was talking about who gets a tech tonight for throwing the ball at the ref or to the ref, and I'm just watching it, and I'm just like, they've got the same temper tantrum. Come on, they both lead the league in techs. Jordan, you're getting a tech.
He's only 5th or 6th. But your point stands. Yeah, it is what it is. I do think Tony Lamb would have helped tonight. I do think having a stretch 4 who could pass the ball a little bit would have made a difference for the Warriors. I know no one wants the Anthony Lamb, the case for him making a difference, but I think it would have made a difference for the Warriors tonight. And maybe that speaks to the roster, and maybe that speaks to Steve Kerr's shortcomings as a coach at times where it's like he needs very specific players who fit his system more than just talent. That he needed Anthony Lamb to get a win tonight, but it is what it is.
What's up, guys? This is Billy from DC, and I don't know who's doing the show or anything like that. I'm in the second quarter of the Thunder game. I just want to know your opinion. Who gives less of a fuck about defense? Who's just more like strictly buckets? Jordan Poole or SGA? Because neither of those guys, they might as well not even pass half court. Anyways, thank you guys.
It's a great call.
Yes.
Who gives less?
Hey.
I don't know. Probably neither, but at least SGA gets buckets. Does Jordan Poole get buckets?
And SGA can play defense. He has in the past, whereas Jordan doesn't have a 7'1" wingspan. So there's, it is what it is, but yeah.
Also, why is SGA playing? I thought this was tanking season. I swear he was out for a little while.
Dude, they're not far off.
Yeah,
they might make the plan.
It's OKC. Yeah, maybe. Good for them.
They're currently tied. Just so we're clear, they're tied with the Thunder are tied with the Pelicans and the Lakers for 9th and 10th. So I think technically they're the odd man out with the tiebreaker right now. Also tied with Portland, by the way, but they're right there. They can easily make the playoffs.
The Warriors are tied for 5th right now. Who is a tiebreaker? The Warriors, Mavs. Who has a tiebreaker? Okay, they got one more game.
But they play. And I want to say that game could flip the tiebreaker because it's a 1-1. It's a 1-1 series split, and Dallas has the tiebreaker based on conference record.
Got it.
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah.
So right now the Warriors play the season ends today. Right now the Warriors play the Kings in a 3-6 matchup. Shit. All right.
That's as of today. That's technically better, but who knows?
We just watched the Warriors play, and you're like, is that better? Because they're going to Sacramento, and Sacramento has the best offense in the NBA, so they might
right
go for
now.
170.
You know what? That's the other thing. I watched Sacramento play, and they don't defend. There's some effort, but they don't. But they're always up, and that's the thing that frustrates me with Jordan Poole. His energy level sucks. do you feel like he ever has like the energy level like the Kings where they're just like constantly like, okay, miss the shot, push, 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 you know? It's a lot of it's just a negative energy.
It's a lot of, hey, I'm a made man in the NBA. And I do think the NBA humbles you. It's humbled the Warriors many times.
Yeah.
Many. We've seen them get humbled many times.
Yeah.
And I do think the NBA is humbling Jordan Poole right now. And that, like, you are not a made man. You have a championship. You are an integral part of a championship team. Let's not, like, I'm not downplaying any of that. Like, he was incredible through parts of that playoff run. But for you to be a consistent, good NBA player, that's, what he's doing right now, and it's not acceptable. But
correct. Let's keep it going, Timmy.
Sam, hey Andy, it's Archie. It's been a while since I called in.
Oh my God!
Tonight's game just is a microcosm of the Warriors' season.
Second microcosm today.
Horrendous defense, unsustainable offense at times with the barrage of threes. Not really mixing it up to get to the rim in certain situations. No cutting. I don't know. I'm not disappointed or upset as much as I'm disappointed more than I am, upset. I just don't feel like Kerr's getting the best out of this group, and I can't put my finger on exactly why that is, but I do feel like if somebody else was kind of in this situation from like a schematic standpoint, they would be doing more. We have an all-world athlete in Kuminga that I just have never felt like it's being utilized right.
Yeah. Archie, appreciate the call. I think it's interesting. I kind of feel that way sometimes too. Like, I think on aggregate, Steve gets the most out of the roster, but you watch someone like Kuminga, and part of me wonders if they had a younger coach who was a little more young player friendly, if you wouldn't get a little more out of him right now, Same with maybe Jordan Poole. I don't know. Like,
same with someone like Moses Moody, who G League stats don't really matter, but I mean, he should be playing in the NBA.
He's too good to be in the G League. He's easily too good to be there. Now, are there minutes from this team? Different question.
Right.
But like, he's undoubtedly like just kind of. It's like what do they call in baseball? A 4A player where they're kind of like stuck between the two a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's, half the Giants prospects, honestly, the last 10 years. But the Nate Sherholtz is coming back.
Well, he's better at basketball than. But anyway, that's
Nate Sherholtz was an elite AAA player. I feel bad for Moses. Giants are back end of this month. Yay! I feel bad for Moses Moody. I feel bad for him. Hopefully he'll
I could say the look on your face, if you're listening to the pod, the look on Andy's face was the realization that the Warriors could get eliminated early, and he has to watch Michael Conforto on April 3rd or something. Yeah.
Sean Mania, you tweeted me about Ross Stripling today. Those guys aren't bad players, but do I have to watch them? Here's the thing. I got a Giants take for you. I think they'll win 90 games. I just don't know how.
And they're going to lose the playoff game that matters. Doesn't matter. Like, nothing about it is real. Yeah.
Let's go. We got more.
Yeah, let's get to the next one.
Hey, what's up, Light Years? What a shitty loss. First goes off, still lose on the road. Anyway, wanted to add some fuel to the fire. What if Wiggins doesn't come back this season? I feel like we've been assuming he's coming back, but this has been such a weird absence that we haven't heard anything. And I was thinking the other day, what if he just doesn't come back this season or in the playoffs? And if that's the case, what do you guys think or project our chances will be?
Great question.
All right.
Appreciate the call. Well, if he doesn't come back, they're cooked.
Yeah.
He's too important. They're not. I mean, I would say the same if Clay went down and didn't come back. They're not actually set up to miss any of their main guys for substantial time. Maybe they could win a series without Wiggins, but you know what I'm saying. They're not going deep without him, right? I don't want to entertain. I don't know. I haven't entertained that.
Here's what I think. I think Steve Kerr, Bob Myers, and Joe Lacob have given him kind of like, hey, take care of it. I do think that at some point runs out. I do think at some point they go, hey, man, there's 5 games left in the season. We're slated to be the 6th seed here. Going to be in the playoffs. We got a good matchup coming up against SAC. We need you to come back. Like, we need you to come back. Because that's all. You know what? That's all I'll say. I do think that comes to a head at some point where they're just like, hey, like, you got to come back.
Yeah, that's how I see it too. I'm just operating like it's not within this organization's DNA to just like let someone disappear for that long. It's textbook Steve Kerr and Bob Myers to be, instead of being kind of like hard asses about it, being like, deal with what you need to deal with. We can make it, we can live until you come. Like, it's better we do it this way than we like force you against your will. But yeah,
but they forced him against his will with COVID.
It's a little different.
It is. But I'm just saying, at some point, I'm just talking about from a business perspective. Same thing with your job and whoever. You know what I mean? It just at some point you gotta come back, and I do think they're gonna. I mean, if they're not already having those discussions today, so I don't think he's gonna be out for the season. I do think he'll be back. Maybe he'll be back with GP2. It feels like that way. Like he'll be back with 8 games left, 7 games left.
Andy Liu says they will both be back on March 12th.
I'm on my knees begging them to come back. So we'll see. All right. We got one more. Timmy, we got last one.
Hey, Sam and Andy. It's Ebony. Is it safe to like have doubts at this point? I mean, I believe in the core, but I don't believe in this team at all? Question mark? I don't know. It's just, these are some dark days. This is like, I mean, I think if they think they have any chance of making it to the playoffs, Draymond has to rest. Like I don't think he should play like at least half the games that are left. I understand like how important he is, but if they want a chance in the playoffs, I don't think he should play. DiVincenzo was probably the highlight outside of Steph. Poole was trash. That technical was weak as hell and just hard to watch. Honestly, this was the rest game. Yes, OKC hit shots, but the amount of free throws they got just tells you this was the rest game. Anyways, I don't have any questions, but y'all have a good night.
No, we can't leave on that call.
Ebony, appreciate the call. You always bring strong calls. I do agree with her point off the bat, which is I believe in the core, but I don't believe in this team. Is it okay to have doubts? Yeah, it's definitely okay to have doubts because I feel like that's where I'm at with it. Like, my belief in this team is just like blind faith that they'll flip a switch because they have guys who are 4-time champions. It's certainly not based on the eye test of watching them every game.
Can I just copy and paste what you said? I have blind faith that they're going to be fine in the postseason because they've won 4 championships. That's exactly what I want to say. That's it, man.
Anti-science here. There's no, we're not leaning on, this isn't Jokic's MVP case.
Oh boy.
We don't have the stats behind us.
Oh boy.
We're just going on pure vibes and faith. We think, someone's going to put on the Game 6 music. Clay's going to come out like Rocky. That's basically it. That's all we got going for us these days, right?
God, I was watching Rocky last night. That's exactly what, it's Draymond's coming on. The original. Very good.
It's a classic.
Very, very, love it. 2 hours of just art. That's where I'm at.
Did you go work out after the montage?
I just 1:30 a.m. Look, finished the movie at 1:30 a.m. Completely just sweating, adrenaline. Risa's sleeping. Like, what the fuck is going on? That's where I'm at with the Warriors. I'm with you. You put them in a series with any team in the Western Conference. You drop them in there, and you say everyone's healthy. I'm taking the Warriors, but it ain't on the eye test right now. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like you know me. Like I like to be a nerd with the data and like get into that sort of stuff. Like, but look, that's definitely not making the case for the Warriors. At a certain point, you just got to be like, look, man, they've done it for a decade. Ride with it, you know. Like
if we're wrong, we're wrong.
This is their anti-science run.
We're like Ball Don't Stop / Light Years podcast.
Whatever,
just pure hoopers. All right. Well, they're playing Memphis on Thursday night, Sam. So we'll be back. Jaw's not playing. Memphis looks like they're in a dogfight with LA. So we will another great Warriors game to come on Thursday night, I'm sure.
I need to get some cigarettes.
Later, brother.